Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a spinach chocolate breakfast smoothie. I have this smoothie for breakfast every morning. Usually I exercise, have a spirulina right after that to get protein or an amino acids and stuff. And there's another video I recorded a couple years ago, I think, about how to make your spirulina drink. And then about an hour later, I have this. And you could not have it, but you might be a little munchy throughout the morning if you don't, and if you do, it really gets rid of hunger because it tastes like a yummy chocolate smoothie, but you have the nutrition of a salad. And first of all, what you put in is organic baby spinach. I use Nature's Promise. I hope you can see that. And this smoothie is going to be enough for two because I'm about to pick my husband up from work and I'm going to bring him one. But you could cut it in half, or especially if you're in the beginning of doing this type of nutritional deal, you could just make yourself a really huge one and be sipping on it all morning. It is really yummy, so yeah, I would advise that if you're not sure that it'll be enough food for you. So about enough spinach to fill about 2/3 of the blender. Not packed down super hard, but you know, a little pressed down with your hand. Okay. So there's the spinach, and then the cacao. And what I happen to be using right now is Navida's cacao powder, and I got it on the internet. You can also get it at health food stores if you have any of those around, or ordering on like Amazon or whatever is fine because you get good deals that way. But make sure you get cacao. And the difference between cacao and cocoa is that the cacao bean is what they make chocolate from, and in order to make cocoa, they roast the bean and then grind it up and make cocoa powder, and that's where you could get, like, you know, whatever name brand cocoa powder for hot cocoa and stuff. And with cacao, they don't roast the beans, they just dry them, which keeps a whole bunch of nutrients that would otherwise get roasted out, and then they grind them up, and so you have cacao powder, and put in a great big heaping tablespoon. So put that in on top next, then just a pinch of sea salt. And I keep my sea salt in an old, what is this? Lemon capers relish, no, mustard thing. It works fantastic for that. And after that, a couple of bananas. You can use one or two. I use two this time because they're kind of small, and I like my smoothies to be pretty sweet, and the banana adds sweetness. So, oh, that, by the way, is a trick that my friend showed me after he visited, I think, South America. I forget where he went, but it was several years ago. But he said that a lot of times people share bananas, and that's how they do it. It's a fun trick, especially for kids. They love to see you do that. Anyway, so you throw in the banana, and then the most delicious, yummy, awesome, amazing creamer ever. I will show you. It's not raw, but it's really good. And that's okay that it's not raw because I love it anyway. And it's by So Delicious, and it's coconut milk, it's French vanilla. If you are ever at a store and you see that, buy it and drink it, and you will be happy and love it. I use it in tea and in coffee, and well, when I have coffee, which is not that often, but and in obviously smoothies, stuff like that. So usually I put it in until I can just see it on the bottom, so not that much. This stuff is really sweet. You really don't need that much. And if you're using almond milk or coconut milk or something like that, you would just fill it up until maybe there's an inch or two on the bottom. And then the secret to blending, there are two tricks to blending a smoothie like this, because if you leave the spinach in little bits, it won't be good. You'll have all these little gritties when you eat, and it's kind of yucky. So what I tend to do is start with just a little water, not as much water as I'm going to put in, and blend it down, because when a smoothie is really watery, it doesn't really get all the bits. And so a little water, I'm probably going to fill it up till it's about maybe 1/3 of the space that all the ingredients are taking up. And then the second trick is to, wait, what is the second trick? Water, little water. Oh, of course. The second trick is to move up the blender speeds. So you start off with it blending only a little bit, like on the lowest end. And so, like, for instance, on this one I have, it's chop, mix, puree, liquefy. So I start with chop, and then once it's chopped, move up to mix, and then keep moving it up, because if you start on the top one, then it'll just go nuts and it won't really cut up your stuff. Some of your stuff it'll get really, really liquefied, and some of it won't get chopped up at all. So excuse the noise, it's going to be loud, but I usually put it on pulse too, just so I can control it a little bit better. And pretty much any type of blender will work for this. You could have a Vitamix, which are fabulous, especially for raw foodists and vegans. But this is a Cuisinart or Cuisinart, or however you say it, and it works just fine for this, at least. So anyway, first the lower some people might think this is a little weird, but to thank your fruits and veggies as you're handling them before you put them in the smoothie, I think it makes it taste better. And also, fruit is meant to be eaten, and some veggies are too. I think that plants enjoy being eaten if you thank them. I know that sounds crazy, but I really do. So I'm moving it up a level now. Watch the side and see when there aren't any little green bits of spinach left, so I need to go a little bit longer. Then you pour a little water in to get it to the texture you want it. And now, last but not least, you put a little bit of ice in to get it nice and cold. Because while it's cool, because a lot of these ingredients were in the freezer, all of them weren't in the freezer. I mean in the refrigerator. So it is not as cold as I like my smoothie. And especially as cold as Terrence likes his smoothie, because he likes his really cold, which I don't quite get down with, so I don't use as much ice as he usually does. And also, he doesn't like his as sweet as mine. For instance, if I were using coconut milk or almond milk and not creamer, I might put in a spoonful of honey as well. And also, if you have bee pollen, I almost always use that, but now I'm using this bee pollen and royal jelly mix that I mix in water and take every day, which just means I don't put it in a smoothie. But bee pollen is a great ingredient to use if you have it. And if you don't, I can't taste bee pollen really in smoothies, but when I don't have it, I start craving it even though I can't taste it, which is really weird. And I think that that also means that my body really likes it for whatever reason. So you can do research on bee pollen, you'll see why. And that is the smoothie. It is green, it looks like pond scum, tastes like heaven. I think that should be a slogan. What jars? I use jars to put smoothies in because when traveling, excuse my reach, when traveling, I find that jars are nicer than like metal thermoses, because I don't like my water or smoothie or whatever to taste like metal, and I find that when I use metal thermoses, even the ones that are supposed to not leach, those last few sips I can always taste the metal in, so I tend to stay away from that. Okay, that is the smoothie. As you can see, it is green, looks like pond scum. It's really delicious. You can't taste the spinach at all. It just tastes like bananas and chocolate. And so you just snuck in a ton of spinach. And especially if you're after getting more greens into your diet, which I think pretty much everyone should get as many greens in their diet as they can, especially fresh organic ones, this is a great way to have them without having to eat a million salads. So enjoy, try it out. All these ingredients I got at either the regular grocery store, happened to be Martin's, and a health food store. You can also order a lot of it online. So anyway, have fun making your smoothies, and I will see you next video.